They put her daughter in a coma. What they didn't know is her mother was a war-trained fighter pilot with nothing left to lose. This isn't just revenge. It's revolution. Blood stained the alleyway behind Millwood High, smeared on pavement, soaked into Belle Carter's curls, and still fresh on the batons that had silenced her. She was only 16, a black girl with a bright future, now unconscious and crumpled beneath indifferent skies. Her arm bent wrong, her breath barely audible, and her eyes swollen shut. Phones emerged from every angle, recording 2 officers frozen in guilt or arrogance. It was hard to tell. The crowd was no longer quiet. "What the hell is wrong with y'all?" someone shouted as Mr. Patel, Belle's former physics teacher, pushed through the chaos and knelt beside her. "She's not responsive," he muttered, his hand shaking as it checked for a pulse. Across town, Camille Carter, Belle's mother, sat in her modest law office, sipping cold coffee when the phone rang. Then another call, and another. The voice on the other end was urgent. "Your daughter's been taken to Mercy General. It's serious." Camille didn't scream. She didn't cry. But when she saw her child in the ICU, broken and unconscious, something inside her, the part she had buried deep after Afghanistan, snapped wide open. She didn't ask questions. She just stared and planned. Camille didn't come to the precinct quietly. She walked in like a storm. Her heels struck the linoleum like bullets as officers turned their heads. "Call your captain," she said to the startled desk cop. "Tell him Camille Carter is here." 5 minutes later, Captain Drew Hastings appeared, his jaw tight. "Didn't think I'd see you again," he said. "You shouldn't have to," Camille replied, her voice sharp as steel. "But your men put my daughter in the ICU yesterday." When Hastings tried to explain, Camille cut him off. "I've already seen the body cam footage," she said. "You have 48 hours. I want names, complaints, histories, and a reason why my daughter was even approached." She leaned in close. "Or I'll show you what a woman with a war record and nothing left to lose looks like." That night, she pulled her old duffel bag from the closet. Her flight suit still carried the scent of sand and jet fuel. Ghost, her old call sign, stitched beneath the eagle and arrows. Most in Baltimore had no idea who she really was, or what she was still capable of. But they were about to find out. By dawn, the ripple had begun. Camille met Marcus Hale, an old contact now working in cyber intelligence. She handed him the officer's badge numbers. "I need everything," she said. He raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. By morning, Camille had misconduct reports, racial profiling data, internal affairs cover-ups, all leading back to the same officers. Her fury remained focused. Then she made a call to Agent Dana Mallister at the DOJ. "It's worse than you think," she told her. Dana remembered Camille from years ago. She also remembered how unstoppable she could be when someone crossed a line. Camille didn't need a badge to launch an operation. She needed truth and a plan. Then came the nurse, Janessa, nervous, eyes darting, whispering that the officers had laughed after dropping Belle at the ER. One even said, "She's lucky we didn't finish the job." Camille's hand clenched around her phone. Janessa didn't want to testify, not unless she had protection. Camille handed her a card. "Call. Use my name. Title 7. You'll be safe." From that moment, Camille stopped thinking like a lawyer. She started thinking like a soldier. Otis Walker was next. Ex-military, now private security, and a man who knew how the system worked from the inside out. "You're serious?" he asked when Camille said she wanted to bring down the entire department. I'm beyond serious, she replied. They began digging deeper, old payouts, sealed settlements, NDAs from past victims. Then Camille sat in front of a black backdrop and recorded her first message to the world. My name is Camille Carter, she said. I'm a former combat pilot and the mother of Belle Carter, who was beaten into a coma by police officers outside her school. She held up Belle's photo. She is 16. She volunteers at a food bank. She wanted to be a doctor. And now, I may never hear her voice again. The video exploded online. Within hours, it had over 1 million views. Protests ignited. Hashtags trended. But Camille didn't care about viral moments. She cared about making the ground shake under the feet of those who thought they'd silenced her. The storm had a name now, and it was hers. As Baltimore boiled with outrage, Camille sat across from Dana and Otis in a quiet coffee shop. They reviewed everything: photos, sealed cases, whistleblower reports, all revealing the same rot. They're protected, Dana said. Judges, DAs, internal affairs. It's a network. Camille nodded. Then we exposed the whole thing. Otis handed her a flash drive. Unreleased body cam footage. Leaked from inside. Camille hit play. It showed Belle small, composed, backing away from officers with her hands in view. Then came the baton. Then the scream. The crack of her skull against the ground. Camille whispered, "Leak it." Within 30 minutes, #Justice4Belle trended nationwide. Protesters flooded City Hall. But Camille knew the system would stall, so she upped the pressure. At a press conference, she presented a confidential folder. This contains emails, NDAs, and memos showing these officers weren't just protected, they were encouraged. The room gasped. If I don't see arrests, I'll release every page. That night, someone broke into her home. Otis tackled the intruder, Officer Talbot himself. You're nothing without a badge, he hissed. Camille knelt beside him. I don't need a badge, she said. Just the truth. By sunrise, Talbot was in federal custody. Camille held a press briefing with Belle's shoes on a stool beside her. My daughter is not voiceless, she said. You are her voice now. Don't let them rewrite the story. The courtroom echoed with whispers as Camille entered in a navy suit. Every eye on her. Dana sat beside her. You ready? She whispered. I was born for this, Camille replied. On the defense side sat Captain Kenny and Officer Talbot, their faces tight. Dana's opening statement cut through the room like a blade. This is not an isolated incident. This is a system that protected abusers and punished truth. Then came the evidence, dozens of slides showing past cover-ups. And then came Officer Ree, graying at the temples, finally ready to speak. I was a coward, he said, but no more. He exposed illegal quotas, racism in briefings, and a signed email from Kenny instructing officers to remind troublemakers who's in charge. The courtroom erupted. Outside, protesters chanted. Camille stood with them later, holding a woman's hand who whispered, They said my brother's suicide was clean. He had bruises everywhere. Camille looked her in the eyes. I hear you now. That night, she received a threat. A photo of her and Belle, circled in red. She didn't flinch. She typed an email to Dana and Otis. Subject, we go public all of it. The next day, Camille faced reporters head-on. Yes, she said. I changed my name after a case fell apart years ago. Yes, I have scars. But none of that changes what they did to my daughter. Her truth, unfiltered, silenced every smear attempt. And in a hospital bed, Belle opened her eyes. Across town, panic gripped Kenny's camp. She flipped it, he hissed. She's not afraid to lose, Talbot muttered. That makes her dangerous. The next day, Otis delivered a tape, Kenny giving the order to make Camille disappear from the headlines. It aired nationally. Hours later, the FBI raided the department's secret warehouse, uncovering personal files, shredded documents, and evidence of surveillance on journalists and Camille's own team. They even discovered attempts to alter Belle's medical records to shift blame to a supposed seizure disorder. Camille responded by rallying the city's mothers. Within 24 hours, her inbox overflowed with hundreds of stories. Children beaten, families threatened, truth erased. This wasn't just her fight anymore. It had become a movement, and Camille Carter was the one lighting the way. In a packed federal courtroom, Camille took the stand one last time. They told me the footage didn't exist, she said, but I already had it, and I was just waiting for them to lie. The screen lit up, Belle thrown to the ground, officers muttering about charges. The room gasped. Do you still argue this was protocol? The judge asked the defense. Silence answered for them. Outside, Camille addressed the crowd. This isn't just for my daughter. This is for every family silenced by fear. A month later, the department fell under federal control. Dozens were arrested. Body cams became law. Camille was asked to lead a new oversight board. In D.C., Congress introduced the Bell Justice Act. And as Camille read those words on the House floor, you don't have to be rich or powerful. Just loud enough that they can't ignore you. The country heard her. At home, Belle smiled weakly. Did we win? She asked. Camille wrapped her arms around her. We made them see us. That's the first win. The rest, we'll keep fighting for. The murals painted, the bills passed, and the movement growing. Camille Carter wasn't just a mother anymore. She was a reckoning, and justice at last had a voice that roared. If the story moved you, if it made you feel seen, made you angry, or reminded you why justice matters, then share it. Subscribe to keep these voices loud, because silence protects power. But stories like this, they dismantle it.